Welcome to Penny for Your Shots, Conversations and Cocktails with Brilliant Women, the podcast where we uncork the stories and insights of exceptional female leaders from all walks of life. Our goal is to serve up wisdom, tips, and inspiration, and to support each other in rediscovering ourselves and what sets our souls on fire. We'll also share personal memories, paired with friends and a favorite beverage. I'm your host, Penny Fitzgerald, and I believe that the best stories are served up over a glass of wine or a cocktail. So grab a glass, get comfy, and let's pour ourselves into Penny for Your Shots.
This week's episode is pure magic. I'm sitting down with Kami Guildner, a soulful business coach, retreat leader, and the author of Fire Dancer. We were introduced by our mutual friend, Kristina, who instantly knew we had to meet because our missions are so aligned and our mindsets are right in sync. And wow, was she right. Kami's journey from corporate executive to champion for women's voices is powerful. We talk about soulful strategy, redefining success beyond the hustle, the power of somatic coaching with horses, and why it's never too late to start something new. Whether you're building your business or rediscovering your spark, this one will light you up. Here is Kami Guildner.
Hello, Penny.
Kami, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. It's so
Nice
great
to
to meet you.
You too. You too. Great to meet you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to talk to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I heard of you, I guess, through a mutual friend.
Who is that?
It is Kristina in Colorado. I think she's a friend of your mother's.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Now I remember that. I remember that. Yeah. She's a friend of my aunt's, actually.
Your aunt. Okay.
Yeah.
I always get that wrong, but yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And where are you at?
I'm in Sarasota, Florida for
cool.
now until
That
summer.
sounds
and
nice
then
and warm.
It is we're under a heat dome right now.
I am envious because we're about ready to get snow. So
oh my gosh, where are you?
We're in Colorado. Yeah.
Oh, you're in Colorado too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. No, Christine and I know each other through my aunt, and we did a polo match together last year. So we've got to hang out a couple times. So it's
how fun.
Yeah.
A what match?
A polo match.
A polo match. Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah. She's do you have horses as well?
Yeah, we have horses. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you are a coach as well.
I am a coach. Is that what you do?
Yes, absolutely. That, and, mainly I teach female entrepreneurs mindset and technology and using systems to be more efficient. But it sounds like we are very much aligned in our belief system and how we want to lift women up. So I'm excited to talk to you about that.
Totally.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
So I am a business coach. I help women put their messages out into the world in big ways, and really, I believe that women's wisdom is the medicine our earth needs. And so I feel like we've got some special gifts that's really going to shape the future of the world. So I'm all about elevating women's voices and visibility and getting, women out to be seen and to be heard.
Fantastic. Yeah, that is exactly aligned.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Tell me more about yours.
Well, don't you feel that women in leadership roles will, we lead from heart?
Yeah.
And supporting and sustaining and lifting others up.
And wisdom. I think we have incredible wisdom, right? I mean, that on how leadership should work. So, yeah.
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay. Tell me more about that. How did you come to become a coach?
So I was, I was in the corporate world for many, many years. I was, 20 plus years in the oil and gas software industry. I left in 2008 and was not quite sure where I always thought that I would go back to being a VP of marketing and branding because that's what I did. And as I was exploring that, I got really clear that, that wasn't what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to go start my own business and become a coach. So I became a coach very early on. And I was a coach who was helping corporate women discover their next chapter originally. And as my corporate women started going through all of that inner work, what happened was that they started to they started to take that leap, right? To take that next leap into something new and starting their own business. And so they left behind the corporate world. So that's when I really started coaching women entrepreneurs. So I've been
Wow.
coaching women entrepreneurs for over a decade at this
A
point.
long time. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel that I'm preaching to the choir here, I'm sure, but do you feel that a lot of women feel like they're dying is a little bit dramatic, but in a corporate setting, it's soul crushing at times, right?
I think that's a really good word, soul crushing, and it's like finding that pathway. And I think that, you know, some companies are recognizing that they need to make shifts in the way they, you know, they create environments that are uplifting women. And I, you know, really honor the companies that are making that kind of commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I think there's a lot that's, you know, companies going backwards right now, which is even, you know, scarier. And in fact, I've started coaching corporate women again just recently because of that, because I believe that women need that support around them to be uplifted. And I've got the tools and that I can help them really build their influence and really accelerate how they're showing up as leaders in their organizations and in their industries. So it's work that started in the corporate world. My thought leadership coaching and teaching started in the corporate world. I did that as a VP of marketing, uplifting a lot of brands and thought leaders. And, you know, my core work will always be with women entrepreneurs, but just recently I'm like, you know, I've got to take this full circle again and take it back to corporate women and help empower women in those spaces.
Wow. Yeah, that's really empowering. When I think about that, it can make a huge impact, because if more women stay in corporate and elevate to leadership roles, then they would have the ability to change the culture and make it better for others coming behind them.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I've always been very focused, but it's like, you know, I just feel this calling to really lift women up in those spaces as well.
Yeah. Well, it's important to, I think, listen to those cues and those gentle nudges.
Yeah, we do. We have to listen to what calls to us, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, and sometimes I feel like it's okay. You get a little pebble at first or a little tap, and then it gets louder or harder or bigger.
Yeah.
It's best to pay attention to it before it becomes a boulder.
Those little signposts, right? Yeah. In my book, I talk about signposts. I talk about, listening to the signposts that show up for us and guide us in new directions and open up doors. So definitely.
Cool. What's your book? Tell us about that.
It's Fire Dancer. It's Fire Dancer, Your Spiral Journey to a Life of Passion and Purpose.
Ooh, goosebumps. That's nice.
Yeah. And I wrote that. It released in 2016.
Okay.
So it's been out for a while, but it's a lot of that inner work of who are you at your very essence and what's the impact that you want to make with your work. And so that's super cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
So is that available on Amazon, or where can people find that? Okay.
It's on Amazon.
Cool. Well, I'll put a link to that in our show notes for everyone too, to check that out.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us about what are some of your methodologies, or what do you coach women? Like what would you say to them? How do you serve your people?
Yeah. So I work with both soul plus strategy, right? So that's a foundation in all of my work. So we listen to that inner wisdom. And then I've been doing marketing and strategy for, decades. And so being able to pull the strategy in alongside of that soulful work, I think is really magical. So that's really a core foundation of my work, is that I bring both those elements to it. My pillars of my work are vision. So it's like really getting into the impact that you want to make. I work with change maker women who want to make a difference. And so it's that, what's the impact that you want to make? What's the vision that you have of your impact on the world? And then what's your impact that you want to create for yourself in your life? So that's the vision of the impact the life that you want to create. And to do that, you've got to have the right packaging and the right pricing, the right business model to grow your business. So that's the vision pillar of my work. And so really getting into, how do you price your services, and does it add up to what you're wanting, the type of business that you're wanting to create, and one with time prosperity and wealth prosperity. So that's, I think, really important, is just, to create the life that we love, to create the business that we love. So that's the vision part. The voice part is getting into, how do you really speak your clients' love language, that how do you attracting clients into your business, your soul clients, those ideal clients that you want to, bring into your business. How do you speak their love language? And, get into their heads of what's going on right now in their lives, as they're waking up in the morning, that you're really speaking to them. What's going on with them right now.
Yeah. And what kept them up last night?
Yeah. Yeah. And getting into, so that you really understand that customer journey. And that's one element of voice. And another element of voice is building your brand from the inside out. So it's really aligned to who you are. And then the third element of voice is becoming a thought leader in your space. So you are known as the go-to expert in your field.
Nice.
And so there's 3 elements to voice. And then once you have those in place, it's like, okay, how are you going to get visible, and what's the marketing ecosystem that you're building for yourself? And that's the visibility pillar. And that's where, are you getting on stages? Are you doing podcast guesting? Are you doing, lots of social? I mean, everybody gets to choose what their marketing mix looks like, but it's like finding the right marketing mix for yourself, and then creating a marketing ecosystem where you have a steady flow of clients coming into your business. So those are the 3 pillars of the work that I teach.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like a lot of women have a spark or have an idea and just don't know where to go with it, or where to start, and they get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So
and I work mostly with clients who have businesses that, that they've got a foundation in their business, and it's the next level. It's like, so I have mastermind programs for women who are trying to get to the 6-figure mark.
Okay.
And then I have a mastermind program for women who are over 6 figures. So I have a couple different mastermind, and so it's a continual journey of applying these principles, but at different levels of your business, you're bringing different insights into it, and you're working with different community, people who are further along in their business.
Oh, that's great to have mentors and a support system in place.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like a lot of women too, we get in this, we've been raised to work hard, grind it out, which really is.
I hate that word too.
I do too. Oh my gosh.
No.
Yeah, no, that's not hustle. No.
Yeah. And that's definitely, I grew up with you work hard to get where you want to go. And I think it's one of those things that I've really learned to, well, what if it doesn't have to be hard? What if it, not to say that it's always easy building a business, because it's not. But I don't want to grind in my business. I don't want to be in a day-to-day grind. I want to, set my business up in a smart way, so that I can create a business that I really love working in.
Yeah. I feel like too much grind or too much go, it's counterproductive.
Oh, totally.
It's like pushing a rope up a hill. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I would agree with that.
And it comes down to, I feel like also, how you define success. Like you were talking about time.
Yeah.
It's not just, what's successful. Is it how much time you get to spend at the beach or with your horses or
yeah, exactly. Time is important, as we need to be. I believe in even the energy that we move through time. There's one thing, it's, we can look at, there's creating white space on our calendars, which I talk about a lot. But the other side of that is like the energy that we move from one event to another, like, from one meeting to the next, or from the end of your workday to your evening. Being very conscientious about how we move through time, and giving ourselves some spaciousness in that is really, really important. And if we get into this frenzy of rush, we bring that energy into how we interact with our
Oh,
clients and how we
yes.
interact in our marketing, so all of that is really important, how we look at it through that lens.
Absolutely. Everything is energy, and what you bring, you attract more of.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Oh, wow. That's so true. So true. So how do you like your masterminds? Describe how you do those. Do you do retreats, or are you meeting over Zoom? Do you have everybody locally? How do you work that?
My clients are all over, so we definitely leverage Zoom, and we meet
Nice.
three times a month. And
Mhm.
so we are in constant connection throughout a
Nice.
course of a year.
Uh-huh.
And in fact, many of my clients stay with me for more than 1 year. That's
Uh-huh.
not uncommon. And so it's that, but a mastermind program is 1 year, and so it's a
Mhm.
commitment to yourself to really be in community, to engage in community, but also to receive so much learning. And
Mm.
what the types of tools and strategies that's going to take your business to the next level. I do bring retreats into my mastermind programs. I do equine assisted retreats. So I bring my
Oh,
horses into
fun.
some, they come in the summertime, they do a retreat with me. We do a speakers retreat called Soul Speaks from the Stage. So there are a few times throughout the year that people come in, and at my very upper level mastermind programs, my platinum, where there are women who are over six figures, we do programs or we do retreats that are a business retreat twice a year. So those are in person as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah. When women come together and support each other, I think we're
Yeah.
unstoppable.
Totally. Totally. And I believe that with all of my heart. And I see,
Hmm.
I've experienced that myself. I've been in mastermind
Hmm.
communities almost all of my business career, my entrepreneurial career.
Hmm.
And and I think what masterminds do for me is they get me one to stretch further. I mean, as a coach,
Yes.
you know what that is. It's like when a coach helps us stretch and step into bigger spaces.
Yeah.
The community uplifts us in the ups and downs of our businesses, and having that kind of support is really important, because being an entrepreneur is messy, right? It's not a straight line. It never will be a
Right.
straight line.
Yeah.
And so really being in tune with that, I think, is important.
Yeah. That's great. I heard recently that being an entrepreneur is a little like building a train while it's going down the track.
Hmm. Yep. I would agree with that. I would totally agree with that. How long have
Yeah.
you been doing this?
Well, I coached women in a direct selling industry for 18 years.
Okay.
So I had a team of about 600 people.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And we,
Uh-huh.
doing a lot of training and mentoring, inspiring and supporting.
Uh-huh.
Then about a year and a half ago, our company closed their doors or changed their business model. So I thought, what do I want to do now with
Yeah.
what's next? So the piece that I really loved was lifting other women.
Yeah.
Well, and I sold wine, so that was pretty fun too. But I can
Very
still
good.
do a lot of research with the wine, but while
Yeah.
I'm lifting other women. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of about a year and a half on my own.
Excellent.
You know,
Congratulations.
thank you. It's been wonderful. Yeah, it's I'm I restarted this new career, this new phase of it at 59.
Hmm. Good for you.
So thank you. Yeah, and it's one of those things that it's also a story.
Yeah.
It's never
Totally.
too late.
It's definitely never too late. I wrote a post about that. I mean, I wrote a blog post this week about that, and totally agree with that. And it's like really embracing who we are. I'll tell you a story. When I was 59, I started having a lot of that self-doubt of like, oh my gosh, am I still relevant in the work that I'm doing? And,
Yes.
are people going to be drawn to me? I'm getting, so these were stories I was telling myself when I
Oh
was
yeah.
59. And I think the best gift that happened to me that year was a client came into my platinum mastermind program, who was 70, and she is a rock star. Her voice, she speaks around the globe. She
Nice.
she is she is known for her work on ageism, and is very
Love it.
highly she's highly sought after as a speaker, because she's just because her message is, she's very well known in this space. She is the go-to expert in this space, right? Like she's the top expert in this space. And what's great, that was like such a gift to have her come into my community, because I was like, oh my gosh, look at what she's doing. I have lots of left in me to be contributing. And so it was really a great gift. And so we had a great conversation, this week I wrote this blog post, which has created a whole lot of conversation around it. And part of it is that, so I'm 62, I turned 62 just this week.
Oh, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And as you can see, I am, I'm embracing my silver, right? I'm about 5.5 months into this silver journey. And someone I admire very deeply wrote a blog post last week and talked about how women need to spend all this money. And her point was around our care of our hair and our clothing should be tax deductible, which I totally agree with. When we're getting on stages, I totally agree that we should be able to deduct, a wardrobe that we have to get on stages with. We can't, but that was her main point. But her other point is that it's women are required to look a certain way. They have to be skinny enough, beautiful enough, do all the dyeing of their hair, all the makeup, all the things, she was even talking about Botox, which I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing Botox. So I replied back to that saying, hell no.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes to the deducting the expenses, but no to all these other things. We need to be who we are and really embrace who we are. So that post actually sparked my writing to my blog this past week, because I believe that, what we stand for is being true to who we are. And we have so much to give as we become wiser. We have so much to give. And I think that that's a really important thing, and not to fall to these standards of beauty that are
self-imposed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh. Okay. Sorry to be crude and use an equine thing, but it's horseshit. It is just,
yes,
it just is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. The whole, women have to look a certain way, behave a certain way. I mean, a lot of that's outdated now. And I think the culture is shifting a bit, but some of us who have been there, done that, still kind of feel it, you still feel like, oh my gosh, I have these wrinkles now and this creepy
embrace
skin.
your wrinkles, your wrinkles, get rid of the Spanx, take up space, all those sorts of things.
Oh my God, I love you.
Yeah. Just be you, and show up and show organically, go get on stages, go be visible, because visibility is your fire. That's what's going to make your business grow all day long, is by getting visible, whether it's stages, podcasts, whatever you choose.
Oh gosh.
But be you. Don't try to like be a 20-year-old that, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think of the 20-year-old me and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much to learn.
Yeah. Totally.
I was kind of a jerk when I was 20. Oh gosh. Yeah. I mean, I've earned every one of these wrinkles.
Absolutely. That's what I always say that. Absolutely say that.
Yeah. I kind of like the red hair though. I might keep that.
There you go. And it's like this, there's no judgment on anything. It's like, just be who you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure where to go with that, because that is just such a great topic. It's so big. Yeah. How do you suggest women feel comfortable in their own skin?
That's a great question. One is just getting out and being in your skin. I mean, right? I mean, it's like the first time you go out and get on a stage, you're going to be nervous as hell.
God, yeah.
You're just going to be, and it's okay. And it's like, so just getting out and doing it is one thing. The other thing is, I definitely teach my clients to really come into their body. So like when we do Soul Speaks from the Stage, or even my equine vision journey retreats with my horses, one of the great things that the horses can teach us is how do we embody who we are, and how do we get out of our head, and how do we get into our bodies? And we do that with Soul Speaks from the Stage as well. It's like, how do we get out of, if you're going to walk onto the stage, how do you get out of your head and drop into your body? So that involves a lot of somatic type work.
Oh, yeah.
So like knowing where you're holding something in your body. And it's like, if you're holding tension in your shoulders, what can you do? Can you release that? Can you open up? Can you make space around yourself? So there's a lot of somatic practices that I take my clients through. And that's what I think helps people start to just really come into their skin, right? As you called it.
Get present.
Become present, right? And another thing that we teach in our Soul Speaks from the Stage is that if you're on a stage, you're actually having a conversation with one person at a time. So like you might have 300 people in the room, but you're picking one person out to start, to have a conversation with. You're saying 2 to 3 sentences eye to eye with that person. Then you might move to another person, eye to eye with that person, the next 2 to 3 sentences. So you're really connecting at a soul level.
Wow.
When you're having conversations with people to bring your presentation to life, but actually just be grounded in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like a lot of that takes practice too. Like meditation really helps you. It's something that, it's hard to do. But
I meditate every day.
I do too. It's something that you have to keep practice that, because if you like, in my own life, I can tell if I've missed like a week or, been too busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to take time for it. It's a mental exercise, and it's a spiritual, not really spiritual, but it keeps you centered, keeps you focused, keeps you present. Cause I feel like it's the best gift you can give to someone else is to listen to them, to let them feel seen and heard.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And to give yourself, on the flip side of that is if you're meditating, you're giving yourself time to be seen and heard. Right. Like just to be in that moment. It's like, what's here right now? I know this morning I sat and it was like, I had like some things drop in and I'm like, oh, that's what it is.
Yes.
Right. And if I would have just jumped into my day.
Exactly.
Yeah. I would have missed that.
Yep.
And so I think it's really important to do that.
Exactly. I tell people, my students as well, that you got to slow down to speed up, because if you're too busy going, you don't get the answer. You don't get the solution to whatever problem if you don't sit still long enough to listen for it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Wow. That's great. Okay. So, gosh, what else do you want to talk about with with your, like the semantics? How do you teach that? Like, is that a physical
the somatics? Yeah. It's very much, that's when I really drop into my intuition when I start coaching on that sort of thing. It's like, I'll be, having a conversation with the client and I'll just notice, I'll feel like tension, or I'll feel like, for example, I just had, I was in one of my platinum retreats just recently. And one of the women, was speaking, and I'm like, time out here. Hold on a moment. I said, what do you feel in your throat right now?
Oh, you
because I could just feel it, right? I'm like, what is going on with your throat right now? And she paused and she started to kind of listen. And I was like, okay, let's, and then she started describing what she felt. And it was definitely blockage, right? There was definitely
hear it.
I could feel it, right? I could feel it in my body where it was. Wow. And I was like, okay, let's work with this. Let's work with opening up this space. What does this feel like? So it's a matter of being really present to where my clients are and being able to, notice what's happening and then ask them to, let's work with this. And that's why I love the horse retreats, because the horses really, the horses will engage when you're like fully in alignment, they're going to come and they're going to engage with you in a deep way, or they're going to, they're going to bring messages of some sort, right? If you are not, if you've got some blockages, they're going to totally like just disengage. They're like, okay, I feel, they're not, they want to find that coherency, if you will.
Wow.
And that's why I love doing it with the horses. I mean, I can, and they actually are the ones that taught me to be able to see and feel that with my clients, right? Because that the work that when I did my certifications in the equine guided education work, excuse me, it was with a woman who had a lot of somatic background. And so she taught that in her work. And so it was really something that I learned through the horses and through that body of work, that I was able to take that into my other coaching, even on a Zoom call, I can, tap into that.
Wow. Well, they're very intuitive creatures, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
They are very much so. They, they live in a life where they are, their heart space is large. And so their heart resonates at a much larger rate amount of space than ours.
Wow.
And we start to tap into that resonance. And they can actually even measure how our heart rates start to match with theirs.
Really?
It's fascinating work, right? I mean, it's just so fascinating.
That is fascinating.
And you think about the pace that we go all the time and all the things that are happening around the world. And when we, we're always in this state of information coming at us. And when you come into one of my retreats like this, I always say you're slowing down to the pace of my horses, and they live a pretty chill life. Right? And so that ability to be able to like drop in and be in an environment where all this outside noise goes away, you can hear different levels of wisdom coming from yourself, because you become so present. And the horses start to show up and they engage with you, or they don't, or whatever it's like, what does that mean to you? It's not that I'm ever interpreting what happens what the horses do, but I'm like, this horse has been pine for a while. What's that reflect inside of you? What's there?
Wow.
So, I'm blown away by how it's always ties to something going on inside of that person. They're like, oh my gosh, I feel like, and they'll go down a pathway of something. And so it really gives a great space to be able to let meaning happen, or be discovered, and without all the noise that's constantly around us.
That sounds so powerful.
Yeah.
Do some of the women that attend, I'm sure there are some emotional breakthroughs and.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I mean, and it's, I've done hundreds of these, and it's the breakthroughs that happen are never the same. The experiences that happen in the ring, the round pen, are never the same. And, even for people who come back many times and have done my work many times with the horses, it's really huge breakthroughs. And sometimes it's about releasing something. So, they're walking out of something, they're leaving something behind. Sometimes it's about something bigger that they're stepping into. Sometimes it's about like fears that they might have about something that those need to be worked through, or some sort of a frustration. It's just a really fabulous way to hold space for someone to, whatever needs to come up for them will come up.
To discover that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you feel like some of it is based on not necessarily big T traumas, but something that's happened to them in their past that they haven't really healed from? Could that be part of it?
I mean, it definitely can be, it can definitely have very old stories in the mix of that, right? I mean, it could be stuff that goes back to being a child, and they pull it out, right? I'm not pulling it out. They're pulling it out for themselves. And I think that's an important part of that is, as a coach, is like you're holding space to let that come to life. Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I work with women entrepreneurs in this space. I mean, there's people that do that work with veterans. They have PTSD with horses.
Oh, wow.
And I actually had a group come to me, a veterans group come to me and ask me if I would lead retreats for veterans. And I'm like, that's not my skill set. If somebody gets triggered with some PTSD, you need to have a different level of you need a therapist type, a psychotherapist type of person to be able to lead that through. With entrepreneurs, it's a different level, but I think the work for veterans is amazing, or for kids, who are going through things. It's very amazing what can happen. For women entrepreneurs, I'm very equipped to help them in that space.
Yeah, it's comfortable. We've been there. We're in it.
Yeah, we're in it. I know it. I get it. And
let me help bring you up. Come through this with me.
Yeah. So it's pretty magical work.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Well, and I think about your 70-year-old client, how wonderful that is that she's leading the way for the rest of us too.
Oh, yeah. Now she's 72. She's like on fire with what she's doing.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah, we have long ways to go.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. One of the visualizations I lead my clients through is thinking about your 80-year-old self.
Yeah, I know. I actually changed that exercise.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. As we get older, we have to push that out a little bit.
She called me on that. She said, I'm too close to that. I'm like, okay, let's make it 90.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. So the horses, how many horses do you have?
I have 3 horses.
3. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I have Wonderful. 2 mares that I have had for many, many years. And we just had a new nice gentleman join us this past fall. We lost a couple horses who had gotten older in the last few years. And so we had a new horse come join us.
Oh,
yeah.
That's wonderful. So you do the retreats at your home there then?
I do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah. We live in the foothills of Colorado. So it's beautiful and got wildlife around us, and that becomes part of it. And it's, it's all magical.
Absolutely. Yeah, it does. It definitely feels very energetic, energetically. It's a positive space. I feel like when we visited up in Evergreen, we were there for a good college buddy's 60th.
Okay.
Not long ago. And that's where I met Kristina.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah. It was we stayed with them. So it was just a wonderful all the way around, like celebrating my girlfriend's birthday, hanging out with Kristina, and just having, new friends, and the whole, oh gosh, the atmosphere was amazing.
Yeah. Evergreen's a great place. I love living here.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I can see why you love it. Okay. So what have I not asked you that you think would be a great service to women?
I think I've kind of covered it. I feel like I've, I've hit a lot of the work that I do, I stand for, and, I feel like we've hit a lot of that.
Oh, it's amazing. Where can people find you if they want to like check out what you do and your retreats and that sort of thing? How would they learn
my
about
website is KamiGuildner.com. So KamiGuildner.com. And if you go to my Get Contacts page, you can, you can get regular updates from me. I write a newsletter every week, and I also do free trainings every month. So my events page on my events, if you navigate over to events on my webpage, you'll see all the free events that I've got coming up. So I've always got something going on.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll link to all those in the show notes as well.
Okay. Thank you.
So one thing that I like to bring the conversation around to something off topic and fun.
Sure.
What's your favorite cocktail or glass of wine?
Oh gosh. I am a big Oregon Pinot fan.
Really?
So, yeah. My son lives in Oregon, so I love Oregon Pinots.
Nice.
So just about anything Oregon Pinot is my favorite glass.
Wonderful. Okay. So any particular vineyard a favorite?
Yeah, we have a lot of Archery Cape. Archer Cape I think is what it's called. Archer Cape. That I like a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful. we took a trip with some wine friends up there in 2000, I think it was 18, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just toured around. Tory Moore is beautiful.
Okay. I don't know that one.
Gosh, there's so many up there. I
Yeah,
shouldn't
there
probably
really
name
are.
them all, but
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a great collective there, and little town called Carlton that
Yes.
have you been there? And that's really
Uh-huh.
fun to go to because they're very, very small batch
Yes.
wines that people go to create them there. And that's just a fun space to go to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And all up and down that area between Portland and the coast in the Willamette. That's just amazing.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, fun. Okay. Okay. So what's a favorite memory sharing some of that Oregon Pinot with friends or family?
Oh gosh. Well, my son lives in Oregon, so that's, we go visit a lot. And my favorite memory is always getting to the coast and getting my feet into the sand of the Oregon coast. So that's something that lights me up. We were just there just 2 weeks ago. And
oh, wonderful.
yeah. So I love being on the Oregon coast. So if I can enjoy a little bit of Willamette wine on the coast, I'm very happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cannon Beach area?
They live just to the south of Cannon Beach. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. That's where we stayed when we were there. Well, part of the time that's where we were.
They live in Arch Cape, which is just south of
south. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. And my son has a business that's in Gerhardt. So he basically has a very successful business, a hardwood flooring company that does all the hardwood flooring on that Oregon coast. So he does some beautiful, beautiful homes there.
Wow. I imagine that's a pretty wonderful thing for that area.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a great team. He's got an amazing team, and they do really beautiful work. So
nice.
They're all craftsmen. His whole team are true craftsmen.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see hardwood floors. We have some in Iowa, but here in Florida, it's not very common to see hardwood. It just is, the humidity is just not very good with wood.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah. A lot of tile here and that sort of thing. But oh gosh, I can just picture it. Very pretty. Oh gosh, Kami, this has been so fun. I'm grateful to meet you.
It's been a pleasure. Great to meet you as well.
Yeah. Okay. Last chance. Anything else you
I think the last thing I'll close with is if you've got a dream that you're wanting to, stand up, put your voice out in bigger ways. If you're being called right now to put your voice out in bigger ways, and I think a lot of women are, go do it. Put your voice out, find your lane, put your message out because we really need your voice right now.
Yes, please. Oh, that's amazing. What a great way to close it off.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Penny. So nice to meet you.
Kami. It's great to meet you, and I appreciate your wisdom and what you've shared, and it's been fun meeting a new friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
That's a wrap on this episode of Penny for Your Shots. If you loved today's conversation, don't let the inspiration stop here. Get my weekly insider updates straight to your inbox. It's where I spill behind the scenes goodies, exclusive tips, and all the fun stuff I don't always share on the podcast. Sign up now at pennyforyourshots.com/insider. I'll see you in your inbox next Thirsty Thursday. Cheers.